In this tutorial, we will be looking at the story world, picking up from where we left off in the previous tutorials, so please check that out if anything is unclear about how we got here. We'll start with the characters. If Filmanize didn't manage to work out the gender of a character, then you'll have to do it manually. Here we can see in the overview that two of the characters' genders were not found. Gender is required as it will help us when searching for actors and assigning them to characters. Any can be selected as the character's gender may not be important to the script. We will come back to finding actors for the characters in the next tutorial, which covers the real world. Sometimes in a script a character might be referred to by different names. In this more complex script, we can see there are references to Princess Talia and just Talia, but both are the same character. Often the script cannot be changed, so Filmanize offers the option to alias one character with another. You can do this by dragging one name on top of the other. This effectively replaces everywhere Talia is found with Princess Talia to keep it consistent, and means you only have to assign an actor to one instance. The same goes for Stauffenberg and von Stauffenberg. As background characters were entered manually, there shouldn't be anything to do on the overview until you have entered some background actors. A scene setting is where a scene is set. There can be multiple scenes at the same scene setting, and by saving the details as a scene setting, it makes it easier to adjust the properties for all those scenes in one place. Here we have one scene setting for Samuel's office, but if we look back at the script, we can see that in fact one scene is external and one internal, so we can separate these out as they won't necessarily need to be shot at the same location. So let's add the new scene setting and rename the existing one. This leads us onto adding details for the scenes. In here we can change scene 2 to the exterior office scene setting we just added, but before we do that we need to fill in one of the required fields, which is the page length. This is the number of pages the scene covers within the script, to the nearest industry standard of eighths of a page. This information is used later when creating shooting days, so Filmanize knows how many days or part of a day each scene will take to shoot. This information will be completed for you if you import from Final Draft, but the Celtics file we have used here does not contain that information. Before we enter the page lengths, there is one other setting you might want to adjust first. When filling in the page lengths, the shoot days is filled in automatically. These are calculated from a user configurable setting for the number of script pages you can shoot in a day. This can be accessed from the menu in the top right in the settings option. It's best to have this in place before entering the page lengths for each scene, as it doesn't retrospectively apply the new setting for all of your films and scenes. There is an option to manually apply this, which we will cover in a later tutorial, but it will be easier to set it first. The best way to enter the page lengths is to look at the original script and go through it manually, filling in each scene in turn, so we'll do that now. Another point to note is that the shoot days can be changed after they have been automatically populated, so if you know a scene is complex and will take longer than your normal pages per day, then you can increase it. Now that we have entered the required page lengths, we can change scene 2 to the scene setting we created earlier. While we're here, we can have a quick look to see which items are in the scene. We can change the settings for characters and background characters for how they will appear in this scene. A character can be marked as not having any dialogue. Useful to know they won't need a microphone for the scene and only off-scene, so won't necessarily need to be there when this scene is shot. We can also change the number of background characters needed in this scene. We can click on any of the other items to get to them from here. Shots can also be added with as much or as little detail as you want. The only information required is the shot number, which must be unique. So you could add the number of shots you think the scene will need to start with, and then someone else, such as the DOP, can fill in the remaining details later. To find out how to add the DOP as a collaborator, see the first tutorial. The frame rate defaults to that of the overall film, as set in the film section, but can be changed per shot, for example for slow motion. Multiple camera movements can be added, and which characters and/or background characters that will appear in the shot can be selected, to help when planning the shot list. You can even add storyboard images for reference. The last thing to cover is script days for the scenes. A script day is the day in the script during which the scene is set. All the scenes that happen on the same day in the script have the same script day. For example, if you have 5 scenes set on a certain day, they would all have the same script day. If there is a scene set at night, and then the next scene is set during the day, that usually indicates another script day. Script days are useful for managing costumes, as usually characters wear different clothes on different days. You can drag and drop scenes between script days or delete a day, for example if the sequence runs through the night. This will move all the scenes for the deleted scene into the previous day and renumber the remaining days. That's it for this tutorial. Join us in the next one, where we cover the real world.